Yeesh. Yeah. High key, yeah,
Quite
literally just
literally,
yeesh.
that is
Because
how I
what the
feel
fuck?
reacting to the situation.
Because what the fuck?
Hold on, let me
Quite literally.
it up.
But I find it funny that at the current moment, Kenji and his chat are speaking what I do like to say, which is in fact, Karma's a bitch. So hi there, I'm Karma, and I just want to say this is terrifying, but also shouldn't be too unexpected. The thing about it is, as someone who's been on Twitch for a few years now, the one thing that I find really unfortunate is people are saying like this is the VTuber community, or this is um like what happened, right? And if you don't know, I mean, you can go over that stuff yourself. You can go to these people's Twitters and figure out what someone did to someone else, and everyone who's involved with this is a VTuber. um and you know, it just feels like every few months there is people who it seems like they're the best of friends, and they're also quite successful in this space, and then the next thing um you know, like people are finding themselves basically at war. And one thing I've learned, war war never changes. And neither does this sort of thing happening amongst content creators in general. I mean, come on, here on YouTube, the stuff between, was it like Sniper Wolf and Jack's Films or something like that, right? um I've seen this happen amongst just regular face cam streamers and stuff like that. So, you know, like it's pretty terrifying to think that as a VTuber, and a lot of us like keeping our real life private, and we don't like revealing a lot of, you know, the itty bitty nuances. It just feels like basically you are at risk when making friends, and I feel that way. I know what that's like. It really sucks. um I'm definitely in that sort of hole in the VTuber sphere where I stick to myself. I play video games by myself, and it's not a trauma from VTubing. I've had very great experience so far with the VTubing personally, and I've not had any issues, thankfully. Um, but I just know how content creators can be. And you know, it's really hard because in this space you want to collaborate with people in a way that helps both of you grow, or multiple of you, like a group. And you know, everyone seems like they have the same goals, and that we can all eat. That's one thing that I think a lot of content creators don't seem to realize. But um I'd say after seeing just how different so many of us are, and how we make content differently, and the different audiences that we entertain, we can all eat. So, for those of you out there who are mean spirited and think that you need to be competitive in a negative manner, please stop. Like, you're not entitled to the same success of somebody else, and your success may come through a different avenue. And I just, you know, I find it really unfortunate that we see these things happening. And I would just hope that people understand this is not strictly a VTuber thing. I feel like I have a bit of um a platform to say that, since I'm someone who you know, I streamed on Twitch for many years using my face cam, and the whole reason why I'm even a VTuber and was able to afford to become one was my success as a face cam streamer. And you know, I've been welcomed with open arms into the VTubing sphere. And like I said, I personally have not had any of these issues. But I'm also super open about like who I am in real life and stuff like that. And some other people who do the VTubing thing aren't, right? So I know this can be scary, I feel like, to people who are VTuber fans and new upcoming VTubers, aspiring VTubers like myself. And you see people who, not to downplay these creators or anything, but they usually only have like a few hundred viewers. I'm not, you know, okay, I'm just saying, like, these aren't Asmongold level people. They don't have 20,000 viewers regularly, okay? And you would think that only when you get to that point, crazy stuff like this would be happening to you with your other creators, and, you know, things that is just like, what the hell, right? Like, why? This shouldn't be the normal. It shouldn't be. But it's not just the VTubing community, and, you know, people should be careful. You know, watch who you share your spaces with, and yeah, hold people accountable. If you notice something is off with someone and you don't feel like you are at liberty to call them out, that you feel like you could lose more by holding them accountable, the very least you could do is cut them off. And I think that's probably where, you know, Kenji here in this situation, and anyone who's been in a situation like this, that's how you're going to make people, like, if you're someone who's in the middle of something like this, like, you observe behavior and you would never do that yourself, but you also feel like you don't know what the, like, who do you talk to? Where do you go with the information? But you know something's wrong. You feel it in your heart, you feel it in your gut, and you feel like, you know, some people feel like they need to interact with the negativity in order to stay afloat. Mind you, for some of this is how we pay our bills and stuff like that, right? So I just want to say, it's not worth it. In the long run, what's worth is you taking yourself out of that situation. So like, to anyone who might want to, like, take something away from seeing these, like, wars between creators, right? And you as an aspiring creator are like, how do I avoid this? Don't do it yourself, right? And if you do not feel like you can hold people accountable, make a twit longer, call them out, make a video, take screenshots, whatever, right? When you are doing those actions, don't think to yourself, how can I cover my ass? If you're already thinking to yourself, how can I cover myself? How can I make it seem like I'm the nice person in the situation? Just know that you allowed yourself to be in a space that, if you were truly a morally right person, if you were actually respectful, if you were actually, like, sensible to, like, the moral compass of just good and bad, you wouldn't have been there in the first place, asking yourself how you need to cover, right? How you need to prove that you are on one side of the fence further than people think you are on the other, right? That you were playing tug of war, but actually the whole time the team you were on, you weren't pulling, you were just holding on to the rope. Like, that's not how it works. So don't do that. Don't be a bystander. And I feel like that's probably, it's just probably because some people, like, it's a flight, fight, or freeze. And, you know, there's a lot of people who are neurodivergent in the VTubing sphere, in the content creator sphere. And we think to ourselves, oh my god, this is bad, what do I do? And a lot of people will freeze up and just observe. And, like, when you don't do something, just think about, like, how you would feel if you know someone was standing idly by while something wrong was being said or done towards you, right? How would that make you feel? It's not about people's intentions, but lack of action. So if you have a lack of action in those situations, you find yourself between a rock and a hard place, I would say just try your best to remove yourself. Don't push against the wall, and don't push against the hard place. Taking note of it, like screenshots and stuff like that, is good, but like honestly, if you're gonna take those screenshots, if you're gonna take if you observe something and you want to share it, you need to share it right there and then. You share it with the direct party that it may hurt, and just own up to it, because the quicker you do, the quicker things will be resolved. And then, like, at the end of the day, you will look like a hero because you saw something that wasn't right and acted on it at, you know, a potential, like, loss to yourself. You knew that it could, you know, you'd lose friends or whatever, because the only reason why people would have been saying things that probably were unkind about other people is because they trusted you. And so this is why I personally, as a VTuber, I tell people not to trust me, not because I am a toxic person or anything, but because I don't want them to think for even a fucking second that they could involve me in chats like this, and don't think I would absolutely go off the wall and it would trigger my sense of justice. I have like a very intense sense of justice personally, and I just call people, I've been called blunt throughout my entire life. It's probably most consistent word besides annoying that I've heard. And it's because if I like, and sometimes I'm wrong. That's the thing. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes when I call something out that I think is bull, that I'm like, this is mean, this is messed up, this shouldn't be being said, sometimes I'm wrong. But you know what? I much rather look like a clown and be told I'm being sensitive, that I'm wrong, that nobody cares, than at that moment where somebody should have spoke up and done what was right, that there was only met with silence. I much rather look like the clown sometimes. So just remember, you're gonna fight, flight, or freeze. Maybe you shouldn't have even been there in the first place. And remember, karma's a bitch. Let's get it together, VTubing community. Come on now.